Some say that true love never fades, and sometimes it waits forever. Today, we bring you the heartbreaking yet beautiful story of a dog named Max, a dog whose loyalty was so strong that he waited for his owner for years, even when the world had forgotten about him. This is a story of love, loss, heartbreak, and a second chance at happiness. Before we begin, if you believe that dogs are more than just pets but family, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you love heartwarming dog stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more. Max was just a puppy when he found his forever home. His owner, an elderly man named George, had adopted him from a shelter when no one else wanted him. From the moment Max stepped into that little house, he knew he was home. He had food, a warm bed, and most importantly, a man who loved him more than anything in the world. Every morning they would go for a walk together. Every afternoon Max would sit by George's feet as he read the newspaper. And every night, Max would curl up beside George's bed, falling asleep to the sound of his breathing. But life is cruel. One day George didn't come home. He had suffered a sudden heart attack while out running errands. There was no one to tell Max what had happened, no one to explain that the person he loved most in the world was never coming back. For the first few days, Max sat by the door, waiting. Every time he heard footsteps, his ears would perk up. Every time the door creaked, he would run to it, tail wagging, only to find a stranger, a neighbor, or no one at all. Weeks passed, then months. The house was eventually emptied and strangers moved in. But Max, he refused to leave. He stayed near the doorstep where he had last seen George. Through rain, through snow, through scorching heat, Max waited, believing that one day, George would return. People in the neighborhood took notice. Some tried to take him home, but Max always found his way back. Others left food and water for him, but he never moved too far from that doorstep. He slept on the cold ground, his little body shivering in winter, his fur soaked in the rain. But still, he waited, because love never gives up. Max became a symbol of unbreakable loyalty. People started calling him the waiting dog. He was famous in the neighborhood, but all the fame in the world didn't matter to Max. All he wanted was George. One day, a woman named Sarah moved into the town. She had heard the story of Max, and like everyone else, she felt the weight of his sorrow. But unlike others, Sarah refused to let Max suffer any longer. She started visiting him every day, sitting beside him, talking to him, telling him stories about her own dog who had passed away. But Max barely reacted. His heart was frozen in time, trapped in a past he couldn't let go of. Days turned into weeks. Sarah refused to give up. Slowly, Max began to trust her. One evening, for the first time in years, Max did something he hadn't done before. He rested his head on Sarah's lap. And that was the moment Sarah knew it was time for Max to start again. Sarah took Max home. At first he was hesitant. He still glanced at the door, still waited by the window, still longed for someone who would never return. But day by day, something changed. Max started wagging his tail again. He started eating with excitement. He started sleeping peacefully, no longer shivering in the cold. And then one day something beautiful happened. Max looked at Sarah and licked her face. It was as if, after all those years, he had finally accepted that George was gone. But that love didn't have to end. Max spent the rest of his life being loved, being cherished, being happy, and though he never forgot George, he learned that love isn't just about waiting for the past, but embracing the future. If this story touched your heart, leave a heart emoji in the comments. And if you believe in the loyalty of dogs, hit the subscribe button for more heartwarming stories. Have you ever experienced such love from a dog? Share your story below. We'd love to hear it. Until next time, cherish the love of a dog, because sometimes they teach us more about life than we could ever teach them.